Imagine being born with the most infamous surname in human history, a name that would later become synonymous with genocide, war, and unspeakable evil. Now imagine that man was your uncle, and imagine choosing to fight against him. This is the story of William Patrick Hitler, the nephew who went to war against the most hated man in history. Liverpool, England, March 12, 1911. A baby boy is born to Alois Hitler and his Irish wife, Bridget Dowling. They name him William Patrick. His father is the half-brother of a struggling artist in Vienna who has yet to make his mark on history. That artist's name is Adolf Hitler. William Patrick Hitler grows up as an ordinary English schoolboy in the working-class neighborhood of Toxteth. He speaks with a Liverpool accent. He plays in the streets like any other child. His classmates have no idea that his last name will one day shake the world. But his childhood is far from ordinary. In 1913, when William is just 2 years old, his father abandons the family. Alois Hitler disappears to Germany without a trace, leaving Bridget to raise their son alone. She tells William his father died in the war. It's a lie she maintains for years. The truth is darker. Alois Hitler has started a second family in Germany, committing bigamy and building a new life while his English son grows up fatherless. Meanwhile, in Germany, Adolf Hitler's political career is taking shape. By 1929, the Nazi Party is rising. The Nuremberg rallies draw tens of thousands. The spectacle is unprecedented. Flags everywhere. Uniformed men marching in perfect formation. And at the center of it all, a man who commands crowds with his voice alone. 18-year-old William Patrick receives an invitation. His father, Alois, wants him to come to Germany, to attend the Nazi Party rally, to finally meet the uncle he's only heard about. William crosses the channel and arrives in Nuremberg. The city is transformed. Swastikas hang from every building. The air vibrates with chants and marching boots. And there, on stage, before a sea of raised arms, stands his uncle Adolf. William Patrick writes to his mother describing the experience. He's overwhelmed by the spectacle. 30,000 men in uniform. His uncle's voice echoing across the crowd. The sheer power of the moment. After the speech, his father approaches Adolf to introduce his son. But Adolf Hitler refuses to mix family with politics. William Patrick doesn't get his moment with the Führer. Not yet. But he's fascinated. His uncle isn't just family anymore. He's an international phenomenon, a man who mesmerizes masses. And William Patrick wants to be part of it. January 30th, 1933. Adolf Hitler becomes Chancellor of Germany. The news reaches London, where William Patrick is working as an accountant. Almost immediately, he loses his job. His employers at Benham & Sons tell him his surname is an embarrassment. They can't have a Hitler on staff. William Patrick makes a decision. If England won't have him, perhaps Germany will. He travels to Berlin, seeking opportunity. His uncle is now the most powerful man in the country. Surely there's a place for family. Adolf Hitler gives his nephew 500 marks and promises him a job at a department store. It's a small gesture, but William Patrick takes it. He moves to Berlin and begins working, first at the store, then at the Opel Automobile Company. But Berlin in the 1930s is a dangerous place, especially for someone with the Hitler name who isn't fully committed to the cause. The Gestapo watches him. They block his work permits. They accuse him of exploiting the Hitler name for personal gain. On June 29, 1934, During the Night of the Long Knives, when Hitler purges his own SA militia, William Patrick is arrested while sitting at a cafe. The SS doesn't believe he's actually related to the Führer. They think he's impersonating Hitler's family. He's thrown into a detention camp. Only intervention from the British Embassy secures his release. William Patrick's relationship with his uncle deteriorates rapidly. He wants to send money to his mother in London. Hitler forbids it. He wants advancement, recognition, opportunity. Hitler keeps him at arm's length. The nephew becomes a nuisance, an embarrassment. In November 1934, William Patrick makes a desperate move. He writes a letter threatening to go public with damaging information about the family. Rumors about possible Jewish ancestry in Hitler's bloodline. Information that could destroy the Führer's carefully constructed image. It's blackmail. And it's dangerous. But it works. The next day, William Patrick is summoned to the Chancellery. His salary doubles. He receives a bank draft of 100 marks. Hitler has blinked. Yet this victory is temporary. The Gestapo continues to harass him. His work permits are repeatedly blocked. By January 1939, with war looming on the horizon, William Patrick realizes he must leave Germany or risk something far worse than unemployment. On February 1st, 1939, he flees. America beckons. William Patrick and his mother board the SS Normandy and sail first class to New York. He arrives on March 30th, 1939, and steps into a different world. America is isolationist, but curious. The Hitler phenomenon dominates newspaper headlines. And here, walking off a luxury liner, is the Führer's nephew. The press swarms him. Photographers capture his arrival. Reporters ask about his mustache, which he jokes about immediately, winning over the American public with his charm and British wit. William Patrick signs a contract for a lecture tour across the United States. For the next 3 years, he travels from city to city, speaking about his uncle, the Nazi Party, and the dangers of Hitler's regime. His name becomes his currency. He's a living connection to the man the world is beginning to fear. His lectures draw crowds. In Boston, his appearance causes a riot. People want to see Hitler's nephew. They want to hear his stories about Rudolf Hess, Joseph Goebbels, the inner circle of Nazi power. But as the months pass, interest begins to fade. The prestigious halls give way to small colleges and reading clubs. The novelty wears thin. And then, December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. Everything changes. The United States enters World War II. William Patrick Hitler makes a decision that will define the rest of his life. On March 14, 1942, he writes a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He doesn't mention his uncle's name. He simply explains that he wants to fight under the American flag, but his British nationality prevents him from enlisting. Canada won't take him. Britain won't take him. No one wants Hitler's nephew in their army. So he asks the president directly for help. The letter triggers a massive FBI investigation. J. Edgar Hoover assigns agents to investigate every aspect of William Patrick's life. The OSS, the forerunner of the CIA, conducts interviews with him to build a psychological profile of Adolf Hitler. His knowledge of his uncle becomes a matter of national security. After 2 years of waiting, background checks, and scrutiny, the answer finally comes. Permission granted. On March 6, 1944, William Patrick Hitler walks into the Manhattan recruitment office at 85 Vanderbilt Avenue. Newsreel cameras are waiting. This moment is too significant to miss. He raises his right hand and swears allegiance to the United States of America. In front of the cameras, he makes a declaration that echoes across the Atlantic. "I am the only living descendant of the Hitler family bearing that name, and I expect shortly to enter the United States Navy. As a member of the armed forces, I hope to take an active part in the liquidation of this man, my uncle, who has unleashed such misery upon the world." It's a declaration of war against his own blood, against the man who shares his surname. William Patrick Hitler becomes pharmacist's mate third class in the United States Navy. He's assigned to a medical unit. He serves until 1946, April 30th, 1945. In a bunker beneath Berlin, Adolf Hitler commits suicide. Germany surrenders 8 days later. The war in Europe is over. William Patrick Hitler has survived. His uncle has not. The world now learns the full horror of what Adolf Hitler created. The concentration camps. The final solution. 6 million Jews murdered. Millions more dead in the war he started. The name Hitler becomes synonymous with absolute evil. And William Patrick Hitler disappears. After the war, he changes his name to William Patrick Stewart Houston. He marries a German woman named Phyllis Jean-Jacques. They settle on Long Island, New York, in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Wooden houses, white picket fences, American flags on front porches. They have 4 sons: Alexander Adolf, Louis, Brian, and Howard. William Patrick works from home. Phyllis works as a telephone operator. They live quietly, discreetly, invisibly. Their neighbors have no idea who they are. Their children's friends don't know the family secret. For decades, William Patrick Stewart Houston lives a double life. To the outside world, he's just another middle-class American father. Inside, he carries the weight of the most infamous surname in human history. He dies in 1987 after a long illness. His will remains sealed. He's buried on Long Island next to his mother under the name Stewart Houston, though some sources suggest his gravestone may bear his real name, Hitler. His 4 sons grow up knowing the terrible secret. One of them, Howard, dies in a car accident in 1989. The other 3, Alexander, Louis, and Brian, survive into the 21st century. According to reports, the 3 surviving brothers made a pact, an agreement never to have children, a decision to end the Hitler bloodline forever. To this day, they live quiet, isolated lives on Long Island. They rarely speak to outsiders. They've built barriers, both literal and figurative, around themselves. When approached by journalists and filmmakers, they refuse to talk. The last Hitlers live in silence, carrying a burden they did not create, bearing a name they did not choose, inheriting a legacy of horror they had no part in building. William Patrick Hitler fought against his uncle. He wore the uniform of the United States Navy. He declared war on the most evil man in modern history. But he could never escape the name, and neither can his children. This is the paradox of bloodline and choice. William Patrick Hitler chose his side. He chose America over Germany. He chose freedom over fascism. He chose to fight rather than submit. But blood is permanent. Names are permanent. And some legacies cast shadows so long that even the innocent cannot escape them. The nephew who fought Hitler won his personal war. But the battle with the name, with the weight of history, with the sins of the uncle visited upon the family, that battle continues. In quiet houses on Long Island, behind wooden fences and closed doors, the last descendants of Adolf Hitler live with a secret that will die with them. And when they're gone, the Hitler bloodline will finally end. This story forces us to confront difficult questions. Can we be held responsible for the sins of our relatives? Does blood carry guilt? Is there such a thing as inherited evil? William Patrick Hitler answered with his life. He said no. He proved that we are defined by our choices, not our surnames. He showed that even bearing the most cursed name in history, a man can choose honor over horror. But his sons answered differently. By choosing not to have children, they've suggested that some stains cannot be washed away, that some names should not continue, that the Hitler line, regardless of the individuals who carry it, should end. History will remember Adolf Hitler as the architect of genocide, but it should also remember William Patrick Hitler, the nephew who said no, who crossed an ocean, who swore an oath, and who fought against his own blood in the name of something greater. That's the story of the man who shares history's most infamous name, but refused to share its evil. What do you think? Can bloodlines carry guilt? Could you live with a name like that? Let us know in the comments below. If this story made you think about family, choice, and the weight of history, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got more untold stories from history's darkest chapters coming your way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Tupperty Efafi Tandfeed Reton YouTube.com Watch Dubfi 5 TB P3 SXZ checks.